Hi, I'm Theodore Henry, and today on the pages of Jamaica Magazine, we're sharing the scene with some incredible people doing amazing things for the development of our country. From young men engaging at-risk youth, to those lending a hand in the development of the agricultural sector, and so much more. You really can't afford to miss out on any of this, so do stay with us.
Did you know that the EU has been doing a lot of work in Jamaica?
The EU provided some 23 billion Jamaican dollars to help people living in sugar-dependent areas. This means new houses for sugar estate workers, rehabilitated roads, improved schools, health centers, vocational training, business grants, and a wide range of action to improve the lives of people in sugar-dependent areas.
Life sweeter for you with the EU.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, February 13. Government says it has been seeing results from the over $600 million allocated to its dengue outbreak response. Updating Tuesday's sitting of Parliament, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton said Cabinet had approved $55.7 million to members of Parliament and $100 million to municipal corporations for vector control activities. Partnerships have also been struck with public and private entities to step up dengue control efforts. They include the National Solid Waste Management Authority, the National Works Agency, USAID, the Jamaica Red Cross, Chase Fund, TEF, UNICEF, PAHO, Food for the Poor, Digicel, and FLOW. Dr. Tufton said the ministry had sustained its sensitization of all private and public doctors, nurses, and other public health officers. Approximately 1,000 vector control workers have carried out inspections, fogging, and larvicidal activities across the island. Meanwhile, extended opening hours have been maintained at health facilities, and the stock levels of drugs used to treat dengue have been monitored.
I wish to reassure the public that the team at the Ministry of Health is doing all that it can, including its stakeholders, to ensure the best possible health outcomes for those currently affected by dengue and to prevent the spread of the virus to other members of the population. We urge, Mr. Speaker, Jamaicans to search, to destroy mosquito breeding sites around their homes, visit their doctors if they experience symptoms, and follow the prescribed course of treatment.
As at February 8, there have been 1,166 suspected, presumed, or confirmed cases of dengue in 2019, with the weekly number of cases appearing to plateau. During the same period, there have been 6 confirmed dengue-related deaths, 5 in Kingston and St. Andrew, and 1 in Portland. Meanwhile, the health minister has put the country on alert for an increase in the number of seasonal influenza or flu cases. Dr. Christopher Tufton says data captured by the ministry reveals an uptick in persons coming down with fever or chills, sore throat, muscle ache, fatigue, cough, headache, and runny or stuffy nose. In response, the ministry has activated its protocol for alert status for fever and respiratory illness. 21,900 doses of influenza vaccine have been purchased and distributed to health facilities. The public education campaign has been ramped up, and infection control programs in health facilities have been enhanced. Dr. Tufton says the ministry has also increased its stock of medication, extended opening hours, and implemented overcrowding management plans at hospitals.
We wish to advise this Honourable House and the members of the public that the flu is to be taken very seriously, as it can lead to pneumonia and blood infections, cause diarrhea and seizures in children. The flu can also worsen chronic medical conditions, Mr. Speaker, such as heart or lung disease. So if you have an underlying condition, then having this bout of the flu can actually make things worse. Persons at greater risk, Mr. Speaker, of dangerous complications from the flu are infants and young children, adults 65 years and older, pregnant women, and persons with chronic medical conditions or a weakened immune system.
In other news, the state has begun the process of reclaiming the 49% shares held by Venezuela in the state oil refinery Petrojam. Prime Minister Andrew Holness tabled the compulsory acquisition of shares in Petrojam Limited Act 2019 in Parliament yesterday. The bill will be debated at the next sitting of the House. At a press conference earlier in the day, Foreign Affairs Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith reiterated that the move was in the interest of the Jamaican people, energy security, and economic stability.
The uninterrupted production of goods and services is critical to the attainment of our economic development agenda. It is critical to the well-being of our people. The government, therefore, must protect Jamaica from the risks presently posed by the ownership structure.
The Foreign Affairs Minister heads Jamaica's negotiating team for the repurchase of the 49% shares. She says that while shareholder PDV Caribe has accepted the last settlement price offered by the government, they are yet to agree to the terms of the sale.
We've therefore written to PDV Caribe to advise them that we remain open to reaching a negotiated agreement and to express once more that this step is not a hostile step, but is one which asserts the interest of the Jamaican people.
A call is being made for more innovators, investors, and private sector leaders to support the island's climate resilience efforts and cut our carbon footprint. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Darrell Vaz, threw out the challenge at Tuesday's start of a two-day workshop targeting micro, small, and medium enterprises, MSMEs.
Public funds are simply not enough to address the adversity of climate change. Therefore, we need financing from all available sources, public, private, domestic, and international, if we truly want to transition to low carbon and climate resilient developments.
The two-day workshop was aimed at examining the results of a national green economy scoping study and uncovering barriers for mitigation and adaptation investment by the private sector.
The results of today's consultation will assist the government in its role as a facilitator in mobilizing support for the private sector to advance climate action.
The Ministry of Justice is to train 3,000 school administrators in restorative justice. Coordinator of the Restorative Justice Unit in the ministry, Dr. Kahila White, says at least 3 individuals will be selected from each of the approximately 1,000 schools to participate.
We won't stop until every single school is saturated with this knowledge on how we can move this environment that we live in, this society, to a more peaceful, amicable society that flows with love and harmony by listening to each other.
Dr. White was addressing students and school administrators at the ministry's Restorative Justice Youth Town Hall last week. In 2018, the Restorative Justice Unit trained 407 school administrators from 198 institutions, along with justices of the peace and police officers. And finally, employers are being reminded that their monthly declarations for January is due tomorrow. Tax Administration Jamaica, TAJ, says the declarations must be filed online using the jamaicatax.gov.jm portal. Payments may be made online or inline. Employers paying inline will now be able to generate their own payment advice using their e-services account. This printed advice must be submitted with payments at any tax office island-wide. Persons seeking further information may call 888-829-4357 or visit jamaicatax.gov.jm. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Do you have a loved one, friend, or client who passed away since 1998? The Electoral Office of Jamaica needs your help to update the voters list with information for these persons, government agencies, churches, insurance companies, hospitals, and funeral homes, and you, the public. We want you to provide us with the records to confirm the status of these persons. Call the EOJ at 888-991-VOTE or visit the nearest EOJ office. For more information, visit our website at ecj.com.jm.
So there's this incredible program that's linking the Ministry of Tourism and our agriculture industry. Watch as we tell you more about the Alex Agri Linkages Exchange.
Many times we have so many things that we can't sell. We have, because sometimes all the farmers goes out and plant Irish potatoes, and it's too much. So what we do is just use the phone, same place in the field, get to them, and they try everything, and they unload it. Before them, we only have spoilage. We can't sell. So no matter how it glut in the whole island, they find a way to unload it.
Bye-bye farm-produced glut. Alex is here to move farmers' produce onto the plates of visitors to our shores.
The Agri Linkages Exchange Center, good afternoon. Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Willis. How are you doing? Okay. So what do you have reaping now?
We have a portion of corn ready, you know.
Is that sweet corn? Okay, sir. Let me just add that to the database for you. How much corn are you reaping?
We have 12 dozen corn ready, you know.
What's the selling price? 120 per dozen?
So you can look the buyer for me anytime you're ready. You hear, boss?
Another problem, Mr. Willis. I'll post the information for you, and once the market is available, I'll give you a call and let you know. All right, Mr. Willis, thanks for calling.
As easy as that, farmers are reaping economic benefits through tourism. The Agri Linkages Exchange is an electronic platform where buyers and sellers of agricultural produce meet. Currently, there are agri-brokers who manage the platform. They operate from the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, St. Andrew office. It's a collaboration between the Ministries of Tourism and Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries. The center has raked in more than $50 million in sales for approximately 400 farmers across the country.
This program is dedicated specifically to the farmers, and what we were trying to solve was the fact that a number of our hotel, especially our hotel purchasing personnel, had difficulty getting produce that was in season, out of season, or even where they were located. So you'll find that particular fruits that will be in abundance in the eastern end of the island never ever gets to the west, and vice versa. For example, mangoes. Mangoes are very abundant in the east, and again, the west would love to have some of the fruits that we have in abundance at one place. So the Agri Linkages Exchange platforms would have been a link to ensure that both buyers and sellers meet. At this point, we have 55 hotels on it. We have 7 agro-processors. We have about 5 retail operators, but the retail are really large personnel. And each day is another day in which persons are added.
I was at a production and marketing meeting in my community where we were discussing gluten, where we can unload our produce. So one of the RADA extension officer recommended us to Alex. I just get my phone, get registered, and that's it. Since Alex, we have more in demand than supply. It's been so good for us, trust me.
There are farmers who might not be technologically savvy to actually go on the system themselves, so they'll call into the center and ask, and these agro-brokers will be able to put them on the system.
On a daily basis, I would say we get from maybe 20 calls per day or so from farmers. A lot of the calls that we do get, surprisingly, are farmers who are new to agriculture. They are curious about what Alex is about. Persons are now realizing that technology, agriculture, and production can all mix.
We supply and deliver produce, fruits, vegetables to hotels and restaurants. It's about 10 hotels that we supply on a weekly basis. Hotels that we supply, it's from small to large hotels. We found out about the Alex Center through a farmer. It is a very good initiative.
On a daily basis, we probably make contact with 20-30 buyers on behalf of our farmers, and they themselves, the buyers do call the center. Buyers request varied amount of quantity of produce depending on what the usage is. If it's for agro-processing or export, the volumes will range from as small as a small agro-processor may need 80 pounds of sorrel or 100 pounds, 200 pounds, 300 pounds, but then you have an exporter who will need 10,000 pounds of sweet potato, 15,000 pounds of pumpkin, 20,000 pounds of other produce. So the volumes vary depending on the usage. We walk with the farmers and we stay with them until the transaction is completed, until they're paid, until the goods are delivered.
Our hotels are interested in buying local produce. There's really no substitute for the produce that we actually produce here. if you were to import any of our ground provision, it wouldn't taste the same. And therefore, there's really no incentive for the hotels to be purchasing overseas. What we have not had from our local industry is exactly where it is and in what quantities. And Alex has been able to solve that mischief somewhat.
It's simple, man. Just get the phone or come down to the road where the office is, register with Alex, and that's it.
Cleaning a pig pen doesn't have to be such a hassle anymore, and that's because students from the Ebony Park Heart Academy came up with a not-so-challenging way of getting the job done. Watch this.
We normally clean this system on a daily basis by using a shovel to gather the feces across the slots. Some of the feces normally falls into the slot, and the rest that doesn't fall in, we have a 2-inch hole at the end of the slotted area where we push all of the feces into it. The pit system for the slotted system is normally built with a degree of slope. That is sloped to a vent area where it is released into the biodigester.
What if I told you there's an easier way to do this? Students from the Ebony Park Heart Academy in Maypen, Clarendon have designed a unique way, modern if I may say, of effectively cleaning your pig pen. A design which they had on display at the recently held Dembe Agricultural Show. Take a look.
This is a pig pen, but not just any pig pen. This is a hydraulic slotted pig pen. Normally, pig pens aren't made to just move up and down. They don't have any up and down movements. So with this pen now, we make it that it can use the hydraulic system and let it go up for better sanitization of the pen itself. So this pen is connected to a biodigester. This biodigester is a system where the waste/the effluent from this pig pen can be converted to a gas called methane, which can be used like a fuel in the home, or it can be used to help with the maintenance of this because it can use to power this system itself.
As said before, this is a hydraulic slotted pig pen, therefore after a while there will be a buildup of feces and excessive bacteria beneath the pen. Therefore the hydraulic system would come in place because this would allow us to clean beneath the pen effectively. Before we clean beneath the pen, we place a fiberglass beneath the pen to prevent the excessive feces and waste material from passing through because we don't want it to touch you while we are beneath the pen cleaning. So this is when the pen goes up, and it will allow you to clean beneath the pen effectively to reduce the amount of bacteria and have a safe and disease-free pen. Afterwards, after you have done cleaning, you place the pen back into its designated area and remove the fiberglass and sanitize it. And that's the pen.
Our course is general agriculture. In general agriculture, we do with the husbandry practice and the cleaning of pens and sanitation and so forth. But we have slotted pen down there. And we have noticed that, with the slotted pen now, after a period of time, you may have a accumulation of bacteria because of small pieces of feces here and there. And remember, the swine/the pig are some animals which they easily catch disease and are easily infected. So that is why and how we come up with this invention. We don't have lots of difficulty because our senior instructor, Sir Calvin Wills, has supplied us with most of the resources needed. But the challenge that we face was mainly making this component, making the up and down movement without the use of electricity. So we had to think about it throughoutly. We just buck up on some syringes. So what we did was, we noticed that when you connect two syringes with a tube, when you push one down, the other one will go up. So we think about it and say, mainly we can use this as the hydraulic component of it using water. Like a liquid, you can use any liquid, not a too thick liquid, a liquid which can flow freely and make the movement. So we have the tendency to connect the syringe to each corner, to 4 corners, and to these syringes we connect them on the framing. So when we have the tendency to push down the syringe, the pen will go up, and when we push up the syringe, the pen will go down. So that is our hydraulic component of the system.
Youth involvement in agriculture is top priority for the government. And with a system like this one, designed to integrate modern technology and agriculture, what more could you possibly ask for?
And now here's a look at some men who, by sharing their stories, are helping in transforming the lives of some of our vulnerable youth.
The Citizen Security and Justice Program, CSJP, is a crime and violence prevention initiative. It was developed by the Ministry of National Security to enhance security and justice by addressing the social and economic factors that help foster crime. In 2010, the program launched an outreach initiative called CSJP's Men with a Message.
It is a group of messengers who are reformed men whose stories are aimed to inspire other young men.
Well, I've been a member from the inception of the group from 2010. My role is giving tips and caution to at-risk males, and just to show people that change is possible.
CSJP come and put me on the platform for a better life. My role in the program is to encourage my fellow member that we have a task and a journey. My role is also to empower the young youth them.
They were recruited using different criteria. There had to have been proof that they had been out of crime and violence for at least 2 years. They also had to get recommendations from the police, from the community members, and from especially like the community development committees. We must firstly understand that it's a journey. And if they were coming from the other extreme, you know that naturally a lot of workshops, a lot of personal development activities would have taken place along that journey. So they've been able to adjust their behavior. They've been able to reflect within themselves and say, if there are other youngsters who are looking up to me, the onus is on me to act in a particular way.
My name is Derek Jones. I'm a member of Men with a Message. I was in Central Lockup for around a month. I was a part of the problem, robbing people, park and corner, defend ends and turf, till end up go out fall on the wrong side. When I first wake up in jail, I can't believe that I'm in jail, I wake. So from there, my mindset started thinking different, knowing that jail was not the right place for me at that time.
I'm Kitsi Brian, and I'm a man with a message. Being in institutions and seeing what life is like, you just have to make a decision. Is either you're going to continue like this or you're going to make amends of your life. I decided that coming back into civilization, that I wanted a change.
We definitely see where the Men with a Message initiative, I mean the CSJP on a whole, but also in particular the Men with a Message initiative, has been having significant impacts on the youngsters across this island. One such evidence is it being the demand that is there for the program for the young men to come and speak at the different schools. And not only have they been asked to come and speak, but there have been many calls for them to return.
I remember a particular place, it was somewhere over in St. Andrew, but there was a young man there who said that he knew me before all of this, and you know, when I gave him a message and I finished and the young man came, you know, he was crying, tears running down his face, and he was asking me that if I don't remember him, but honestly I didn't know him, but he said that he knew me from time before, and that he had loved the transformation. I can safely say that young man is a member of the National Engineering Institute, which is NTI. So to see that I was the person that inspired that, wow, that's great.
They are representing a brand that is synonymous to peace building, a brand that is synonymous with law and order, right? So the Men with a Message are always expected to be good ambassadors of the program, of the CSJP, and of the Ministry of National Security, which is our parent ministry.
Don't follow a friend or not when I have nowhere going. Badness is madness. Stay in school. Gave teach you that anywhere we go, read something before we reach. Even if we sit down and waiting on the people, we need to read something. Read a book and you will see the difference between you and the man when I read.
Favored, preferred, prepared mind. We have the power, you know, to form and shape our future. And I'd like to think that, you know, if you want good for yourself, then you'd want to choose the positive way too. Other people are doing what they want to do. So if I have a dream, I don't see the reason why I can't go there and achieve it, just like any other human being.
This 24-hour period is being celebrated as World Radio Day, and we're being called to think for just a moment how much this device has shaped our lives. Now, think about the time before the moving images on box screens or the lightning speed of the internet. And even despite these inventions, radio still continues to impact the lives of so many in varying ways. Now, here are just a few ways. Radio has the power to unite people from all sorts of backgrounds. Remember that discussion from that DJ show that might have sparked a conversation on the bus with a few people? Just like that. Radio also helps in raising awareness and fostering understanding for so many people. Radio also has the power to allow us to tap into our imagination and travel through stories vicariously. So while you're listening, you're also keeping the brain active. And yes, it is still a dynamic and responsive platform. And preserving this aspect of communication can also be important in making Jamaica that place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. And that's all we have for you on today's show. But if you missed anything, you can watch it all again on our website or our YouTube channel. And don't forget to keep up with us via our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry. You take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.